The strange belly, the night sky above the alien planet was dark and silent, filled with stars that looked sharper than any sky Ethan had ever seen. He moved carefully through the ruins of a crashed starship, his boots crunching against broken glass and metal pieces. The place was quiet, but his instincts told him that something was alive here, something waiting. Ethan was a human explorer, trained to travel across dangerous planets, but nothing had prepared him for what he was about to find behind a half-broken wall of the alien ship. He saw a strange light glowing, like fire trapped inside skin. When he stepped closer, he froze. There, lying on the ground, was an alien woman. Her skin pale blue, and her eyes glowing faintly as if they carried the stars themselves. But the most shocking thing was her belly, round and swollen, glowing with pulsing light, as if it was about to explode. She looked weak, breathing heavily, and her voice came out in broken whispers. "You, human, you did this," she said, her hand trembling as it pointed at him. Ethan's heart raced. He had never seen her before. He didn't understand. What did she mean? He did this. He knelt beside her, scanning her body with his wrist device. The readings made no sense. Her body showed extreme stress. Her cells were mixed with something human. Ethan shook his head. "No, this can't be. I never..." But the words died in his throat. Her belly glowed brighter, and she winced in pain, her entire frame shaking as though something inside was pushing against her. Ethan's survival training kicked in. He tried to calm her. "Stay with me. Don't move. I'll help you." But the alien woman stared into his eyes with both fear and strange trust. "You must protect them. They are yours. 9 of them," she whispered before losing her strength again. His chest tightened. 9 of them. What did that even mean? He leaned back, confusion burning through his mind. He remembered a rescue mission months ago when he had saved a wounded alien near the asteroid fields. The med tech had used his DNA to heal her wounds because her body did not respond to alien medicine. Could it be that moment had somehow created life inside her? Ethan's eyes widened. This was impossible. Humans and aliens could not. Could they? Yet here she was, her belly alive with light, her breath shallow but determined, carrying something no one had ever seen before. He looked around the ruins. The silence of the night felt heavier now, as if danger was close. If anyone found her like this, if the alien hunters knew she carried hybrid children, they would kill her instantly, and him too. The ground beneath his feet trembled slightly. A sound echoed through the wreckage, distant but getting closer. The mechanical stomp of armored boots. Ethan's hand moved to his weapon, his eyes scanning the shadows. He knew he had little time. The alien woman gasped again, clutching her belly. "They're coming. They know. Protect them." Her words pierced through him like a blade. He had spent years traveling galaxies, fighting battles, exploring worlds, but he had never been called a protector. And now, in the most impossible way, fate had tied him to her, to the lives glowing inside her. He quickly pulled out a thermal blanket from his pack and covered her, shielding her glowing belly from plain sight. The light dimmed slightly, but he could still feel the power radiating from within her body. He whispered, "You're going to be okay. I won't let them take you," though his voice carried doubt. Because deep down, Ethan was terrified. The heavy footsteps grew louder. Closer. Ethan gritted his teeth, his mind racing. If these were the alien soldiers, then he had to move now. But how could he move her? She was weak, barely able to breathe, and her belly looked like it would tear apart at any moment. He slid his arms beneath her, carefully, her body fragile and trembling, as he lifted her. The glowing light inside her belly flared brighter, almost blinding. She cried out softly, clutching at his chest, her nails digging into his suit. Ethan whispered, "Hold on, just hold on." He carried her through the broken corridors of the ship, his steps quick but careful. Every corner felt like a trap. Every shadow felt like an enemy. The sound of soldiers echoed through the ruins. Now metallic voices speaking in a language Ethan couldn't fully understand. But he knew what they were saying. Find her. Find the traitor. Finally, he found a narrow cave near the edge of the wreckage. Hidden under twisted steel, he placed her gently inside, kneeling beside her. Her glowing belly illuminated the small space, making the air feel heavy and alive. He touched his forehead, trying to think. He had no plan, no clear path, but he knew one thing: he couldn't leave her, not like this. The alien woman opened her eyes again, her voice soft but clear now. You don't understand, human. They fear the children. They fear you. Because together you can change everything. Her words left Ethan frozen. Change everything. What could she mean? Before he could answer, the cave shook as an explosion rocked the ground outside. The enemy was close, too close. Ethan grabbed his weapon, his heart pounding. The strange belly glowed brighter, brighter than ever, as if it was alive with its own heartbeat. And Ethan knew this was only the beginning. Asterisk, the secret revealed. The cave was dark, the air heavy with dust and silence. Except for the shallow breaths of the alien woman lying on the ground. Ethan crouched beside her, his weapon in one hand, his other hand checking the scanner on his wrist. Outside, the sound of alien soldiers echoed like a nightmare, metallic boots stomping. Voices sharp and commanding, searching, hunting. But inside this hidden space, another mystery was unfolding, a mystery that made Ethan's heart pound harder than the threat outside. The alien woman's belly glowed faintly now, less explosive than before, but still alive with strange light. Her skin was pale, her lips trembling, yet her eyes opened again, glowing faint blue, staring directly at him. You don't understand, human. This is not accident, she whispered, her voice filled with both pain and certainty. Ethan leaned closer, his pulse quickening. Then explain it to me, because nothing makes sense right now. She took a deep breath, fighting through her weakness, her hands pressing against the swollen, glowing belly. When you saved me in the asteroid field, your blood touched mine. Your DNA merged with me through your healing machine. Her words hit Ethan like a storm, his memory flashing back. Months ago, during a rescue mission, he had found her broken and dying. His medtech could not fix her alien body, so the system had used the only thing available: his blood, his cells, his DNA. He had never thought of the consequences. He had only wanted to save her. Ethan swallowed hard. That means, you're saying? She nodded weakly, her voice breaking. Yes, human, I carry 9 children, hybrids, your children. And mine. Ethan's chest tightened as if the cave itself had closed in around him. 9 children. It was impossible, insane, unbelievable. Yet here she was, glowing proof of the truth. His mind spun with questions. How could human and alien DNA mix? How could life grow so fast? Why 9? But before he could speak, the alien woman grabbed his arm with surprising strength, her eyes burning with intensity. They will not allow this. My people, they call it corruption, betrayal. They will hunt me, they will hunt you, they will kill the children before they take their first breath. Her words carried terror, but also something more: desperation and hope. Ethan's heart pounded. He had faced battles before, fought enemies across the galaxy, but nothing had shaken him like this. The idea that he was suddenly the father of 9 unborn hybrids was beyond anything he could have imagined. And now, it wasn't just about survival. It was about protecting something that could change the future of 2 species. He looked at her glowing belly again, the light pulsing like 9 tiny heartbeats. The air inside the cave felt charged, alive. As if the universe itself had chosen this moment, Ethan whispered, almost to himself, 9 children, hybrids. His voice filled with disbelief and awe. The alien woman closed her eyes, exhausted, but she whispered back, not just children. They are hope, a bridge between 2 worlds, a reason for peace. Or a reason for war. Before Ethan could respond, a loud crash shook the ground. Dust falling from the cave ceiling. The enemy was close. Their scanners would soon find them. Ethan tightened his grip on his weapon, his mind racing. He knew he had two choices: leave her behind and escape, or stay and protect her, risking everything. But as he looked at her, weak but holding the lives of 9 glowing beings inside her, he realized there was no choice at all. He leaned closer, his voice firm but low. "Listen to me. If they find us, we're finished. I need to move you. But I need to know, what exactly am I protecting? What are these children?" Her eyes opened again, soft but determined. "They are more than life. They carry your strength and my power. They will grow faster, learn faster, and one day they will decide the fate of both species." Her words made his blood run cold. Not just children, not just hybrids, but beings that could change the galaxy itself. The stomping outside grew louder, closer. Ethan clenched his jaw, adrenaline rushing through his veins. He pulled the thermal blanket tighter around her, dimming the glow of her belly as much as possible. "We'll move when the noise shifts. Stay quiet. Don't move," he whispered. She nodded weakly, though. Her body trembled with each breath. Minutes felt like hours. The soldiers' voices thundered nearby, their lights scanning the ruins. Ethan held his breath, his hand ready on his weapon, his eyes fixed on the cave entrance. One wrong sound, one slip, and everything would be lost. The alien woman pressed her hand against her belly. The light flickered, and she whispered something so soft it was almost a prayer. "Children of two worlds, you must live." Ethan's throat tightened, his own thoughts spinning. He had never thought of himself as a father, never thought of responsibility beyond missions and battles. But now he realized fate had given him no warning, no choice. He was bound to these children, and bound to her, whether he wanted it or not. Suddenly, the sound of boots faded. The soldiers moved into the other side of the ruins. Ethan exhaled slowly, relief washing over him. But only for a moment, because he knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy would not forgive them, the hunters would not stop, and the strange glowing children inside her were both a miracle and a curse. And Ethan, a simple human explorer, was now at the center of it all. The dangerous hunt. The night outside the cave was restless. Shadows moved with the sound of armored soldiers searching the wreckage. Ethan pressed his back against the cold stone, holding his breath, his ears sharp to every echo. The alien woman lay weak beside him, her glowing belly dimmed under the thermal blanket, but the light still pulsed faintly, like the heartbeat of something alive and unstoppable. Ethan's mind raced. He had faced battles before, but never one like this. It was not just about his life now, it was about hers. And about the 9 unborn hybrids that seemed to carry the weight of 2 civilizations. He whispered to himself, "We can't stay here. They'll sweep this area soon." His eyes scanned the cave's exit, planning every possible move. The alien woman opened her eyes again, her voice fragile but steady. "They will not stop. Once they know I live, they will chase me until I am gone." Ethan frowned, his grip tightening on his weapon. Why, if these children are life, why would they want them destroyed? Her gaze turned dark, her eyes shimmering. In the dim light, "To them, I am corrupted. Human blood inside me is unforgivable. They see it as pollution, an abomination. They fear what they do not understand." Her words cut deep into Ethan's chest. Because he had seen this before, on other worlds. Fear of the unknown always brought hate, always brought war. But now, he was not a spectator. He was standing in the middle of it. The ground rumbled suddenly, and a beam of red light shot past. The cave entrance, scanners, searching for life signs. Ethan cursed it under his breath, pulling her gently to the side, deeper into the shadows. The light passed, but it would return, and sooner or later, they would find them. He made a quick decision, his voice low but firm. "We move now." The alien woman shook her head, her body trembling. "I cannot. My strength is fading." Ethan looked at her glowing belly, the light flickering dangerously. "You don't have to walk. I'll carry you, but we stay here. We die." He slid his arms beneath her, carefully, lifting her once more, her weight pressed against him, her hand clutching his chest for support. The glow beneath the blanket pulsed brighter with each step, almost as if the unborn children knew danger was near. Ethan moved silently through the ruins, his eyes sharp, his ears catching every metallic sound from the soldiers, the alien ships. Twisted corridors gave some cover, but every creak of metal felt like it would betray them. The alien woman whispered against his ear, "They know I am close. My body emits a signal when the children are this far along." "They will track it," Ethan cursed again. "So hiding won't be enough. They're not just hunting you. They're being pulled to you." The path ahead opened into the forest beyond the crash site, tall black trees swaying under the cold alien wind. He stepped out, the sound of boots echoing not far behind him. He picked up his pace, his legs burning as he carried her, his weapon hanging at his side, ready, branches cracked under his boots, every sound feeling like a beacon to the hunters. The alien woman clutched her belly suddenly, her voice breaking with pain. "They are restless, one of them is moving." Trying to break free too early, Ethan froze, his eyes darting around. "Now you mean now, in the middle of this?" She nodded, tears shining in her glowing eyes. "The birth. It will not wait for safety." His blood turned cold. He had no medical team, no equipment, only his pack and a weak shelter of trees. The sound of alien soldiers grew closer, their lights cutting through the forest like knives. Ethan set her down behind the roots of a massive tree, crouching low beside her. Her belly pulsed with violent light, brighter, brighter, until it lit up the whole space around them. He clenched his jaw, whispering, "You have to keep quiet. If they see this glow, we're finished." But she cried out softly, unable to hold it in, her body arching in pain. Ethan grabbed his pack, pulling out the med kit, his hands shaking. He wasn't a doctor, but survival training had taught him enough to keep people alive in the field. He worked quickly, setting up a shield of reflective cloth around her to contain the glow. His heart raced with every sound of approaching footsteps, every broken branch echoing through the forest. The alien woman gasped, clutching Ethan's arm. "If I die, you must protect them. Promise me, human." Her words tore through him, heavy and unshakable. He gritted his teeth. "You're not dying, not tonight." But deep down he wasn't sure if that was true. Suddenly, a blast of red energy scorched the ground near them, burning the tree roots. The hunters had arrived, their voices shouting, their weapons firing into the forest. Ethan grabbed his gun with one hand, shielding her with his body. He fired back, his shots cutting through the night, striking one soldier down, but more followed, their armor glowing under the beams of their weapons. The alien woman screamed again, her belly glowing so bright that even the shield could not hide it anymore. The forest lit up like a beacon, and every hunter turned toward them. Ethan's heart pounded as he realized they were trapped, hunted, and outnumbered. He stood his ground, his weapon raised, his body shielding her. 9 lives inside her pulsed with blinding light, and Ethan whispered through clenched teeth, "Then let them come." The first contraction blasts of red light ripped through the dark forest. Trees caught fire, shadows twisted with smoke, and the ground trembled under the force of the alien hunter's weapons. Ethan fired back, moving fast, his body shielding the alien woman who lay hidden behind the roots of the massive tree. He could hear their metallic voices shouting, their boots crunching closer with every second. But what terrified him most was not the hunters. It was the sound coming from her. The alien woman clutched her glowing belly, her cries sharp and raw, her body arched in pain. The light pulsing wildly, brighter than before. She gasped, "It has begun." One of them. "One is coming too soon." Ethan's blood turned to ice, his eyes snapping toward her. Now here, in the middle of a war zone. She nodded weakly, sweat shimmering on her skin, her voice breaking. "The first contraction. It cannot be stopped." Ethan's heart pounded as if it would burst through his chest. He had never delivered a child, let alone a half-human, half-alien hybrid glowing like a living star. But he didn't have a choice. He had promised to protect her and the children. The sound of blaster fire shook the ground again, but he forced his focus on her. "Listen, you need to stay calm. I'll help you. Just breathe," he whispered, though his own breath was shallow and unsteady. The hunters shouted again, their lights cutting through the trees, beams searching for the source of the glow. The alien woman screamed as another contraction ripped through her body. Her hands dug into the earth, sparks of strange energy spilling. From her fingertips, Ethan's scanner beeped wildly, showing readings that made no sense. Power surges, cellular growth, something beyond human science. He bit his lip hard, whispering, "Come on, hold on, just hold on." Her belly surged with light so bright Ethan had to shield his eyes. For a terrifying moment, he thought she would explode, her body breaking apart under the strain. But instead, the light seemed to shift, pushing downward, moving like a force. Determined to escape, she cried out again, "It's coming, human, the first of 9. Help me." Ethan's hands shook as he pulled open the medkit, grabbing tools he barely understood. He set up a barrier of reflective cloth around her to hide the glow, but it flickered and failed as the contractions grew stronger. Every scream she gave echoed through the forest, carrying danger straight to their enemies. The hunters were closing in, their shadows flickering between the burning trees. Ethan crouched over her, sweat dripping down his forehead, his voice fierce but steady. "Look at me. Don't give up. You're stronger than this. Stronger than all of them." Her glowing eyes met his, pain and determination burning within them. "I will not give up, but if I fall, promise me you will not let them kill what comes out." Her words stabbed into him, heavy as iron. Ethan nodded firmly. "I promise," though fear gnawed at him. Another contraction hit, and she screamed so loudly that birds burst from the trees. The light inside her belly swirled, forming strange patterns, like symbols of a language Ethan couldn't read. Then, a sudden burst of energy erupted, shaking the ground around them. The hunters stopped for a moment, their voices confused, their weapons lowered as they stared at the glow in the distance. Ethan used that moment, firing rapidly at them, forcing them back into cover. He shouted over his shoulder, "Come on, you have to push, we don't have time." Her body shook violently, her voice echoing like thunder. "It is not just birth. It is transformation." Ethan frowned, not understanding, but then he saw it. Her belly pulsed like a heartbeat, and a shadow formed inside the glowing light. Not just energy, not just a glow, but a shape, a living being fighting to emerge. The air around them grew hotter, crackling with strange power. Ethan's stomach twisted, fear and awe mixing in his chest. The alien woman screamed one last time, and then the light burst outward, blinding for a moment. When Ethan opened his eyes, he saw it, a small body lying against her, glowing faintly, breathing weakly. A child, but not like any child he had ever seen. Its skin shimmered between human and alien tones, its tiny hands sparked with light, its eyes glowing faint blue like its mother's. Ethan's breath caught in his throat, his hands trembling. The alien woman reached out weakly, pulling the newborn close to her chest, tears running down her cheeks. Her voice cracked, "The first of 9. He lives." Ethan knelt beside her, staring at the child in shock and wonder. But his awe was short-lived, because the hunters had seen the explosion of light, and now they were charging straight toward them. Ethan stood, gun in hand, his jaw tight. Behind him, the alien mother held her newborn, glowing in the dark like a beacon. Ahead of him, armored hunters raised their weapons, their voices full of hate. Ethan's heart thundered, his promise ringing in his ears. He whispered, "Over my dead body," and pulled the trigger. Asterisk, the enemy closes in. The forest burned with red light as the alien hunters advanced, their armored suits glowing, their weapons humming with deadly energy. Ethan stood firm in front of the cave-like roots, his gun aimed, his heart pounding like a war drum. Behind him, the alien woman held her newborn close, the child glowing faintly, breathing softly, fragile yet powerful. 8 more lives still pulsed within her belly, their light flickering like restless stars. The hunters shouted in their harsh tongue, their voices filled with fury. One of them pointed toward Ethan and a woman, calling her a traitor, calling the child a curse. Ethan didn't need to know the words. Their intent was clear. They wanted to erase her, erase the child. Erase everything she carried, he whispered under his breath. Not while I'm alive. And pulled the trigger. The first shot struck true, piercing the armor of the lead hunter. Sparks flying as the figure collapsed, but the others spread out, moving fast, their weapons spraying fire into the trees, cutting down branches and sending flames across the ground. Ethan ducked behind cover, returning fire, each blast forcing him back, the heat, the smoke, the chaos. It was all closing in around him. The alien woman cried out as another contraction gripped her body, her voice raw with pain. The newborn in her arms began to glow brighter, its tiny eyes opening for the first time. Ethan glanced back, panic searing through him. Not now, please, not now. But her face told him the truth. Her body was breaking. Another child was trying to force its way into the world too soon. The hunters closed the gap, their boots pounding against the ground, their voices chanting. Ethan fired again and again, his shots precise, his movements desperate. 2 hunters fell, but more appeared, their armor shining in the firelight, their weapons trained on him. One shouted, "The abomination must die," his voice echoing like thunder. The alien woman's body shook violently. Her eyes wide with terror, she screamed, "Ethan, they will kill him, protect him." Clutching the newborn tight, Ethan's chest tightened, the weight of his promise crashing down. He knew he could not fail, not here, not now. The hunters advanced, their weapons glowing brighter. Ethan switched his gun to rapid fire, unleashing a storm of shots that tore through the flames. For a moment, the enemy stumbled, forced to retreat behind the burning trees. But then one of them hurled an energy grenade, and the ground exploded near Ethan, throwing him against the roots. His vision blurred, his ears rang, but he forced himself back up, his body aching. Through the smoke, he saw the alien woman shielding her newborn with her body, her glowing belly pulsing dangerously. Ethan stumbled forward, dragging himself between her and the enemy, his weapon raised again. The hunters emerged from the smoke, their blades drawn, their eyes burning with hate. The newborn cried, the sound strange and sharp, like a note of pure energy cutting through the chaos. The hunters froze for a moment, staring at the child, their faces twisted with fear. Ethan seized the moment, firing again, dropping another one of them to the ground. But the others roared, charging at him, blades ready to tear him apart. Ethan fought with everything he had, his gun firing, his body moving with desperation. He blocked one strike, kicked another back, fired point blank into a third. But there were too many, and his strength was fading. The alien woman cried out again, her belly glowing so bright that the forest looked like daylight. The hunters turned their heads toward her, their fear shifting to rage. "She carries the others," one shouted, raising his blade. "Kill her before they are born." Ethan's blood boiled, a roar tearing from his throat as he threw himself into their path. "You'll touch her over my dead body," he growled, firing until his gun overheated in his hands. The hunters pushed closer, surrounding him, their weapons aimed. The alien woman clutched her newborn, tears streaming down her face, her voice breaking. "Ethan, they will not stop, not until we are gone." He looked back at her, his breath ragged, his face smeared with dirt and blood. "Then we don't run, we fight together." Suddenly, the newborn's body glowed brighter, brighter than before. The child let out another strange cry, and a shockwave of light burst from its tiny frame. The hunters stumbled, their weapons flickering, their armor sparking under the blast. For the first time, Ethan saw fear in their eyes. He stared at the child, his heart pounding. It wasn't just alive, it had power. Real power, enough to turn the tide of battle. The alien woman looked at Ethan, her eyes wide with hope. "They are not weak. They are born to survive," she whispered. Clutching the child to her chest, the hunters regrouped, rage twisting their voices. They shouted their vows to destroy the hybrids, to erase the corruption. Ethan raised his weapon again, his voice hard. "Then come and try," he said, standing his ground. The enemy closed in, their weapons blazing, and Ethan knew the real battle had only just begun. The birth of 9, the forest roared with fire and battle. Red beams cut through the smoke. Armored hunters shouted their war cries, and Ethan stood bleeding but unbroken. Behind him, the alien woman lay on the ground, her glowing belly surging like a storm, the newborn in her arms crying with strange power, sending shockwaves of energy into the air. But it was not over, not even close. The alien woman gasped, her body trembling violently, her voice echoing in the night. "They are coming. All of them. I cannot hold them back any longer." Her belly swelled with light so fierce that Ethan had to shield his eyes. The glow pulsed in rhythm, 9 distinct heartbeats, each stronger, each demanding to be free. Ethan knelt beside her, his voice urgent. "Not now, not here. We can't. There are too many of them out there." She grabbed his hand with surprising strength, her glowing eyes piercing his soul. "There is no choice, human. Life will not wait for safety. They will be born tonight, or I will die with them." Ethan's chest tightened, his mind screaming at the impossibility. 9 children, 9 hybrids here, in the middle of battle. With enemies at their doorstep, the hunters shouted again, breaking through the flames, their weapons raised, their leader roaring. "End this corruption. Kill the traitor. Kill the spawn." Ethan rose to his feet, his weapon trembling in his grip. His body ached, his lungs burned. But his voice was steady. "You'll have to kill me first." He fired, dropping another soldier, but more poured in from the smoke, surrounding them, tightening the noose. The alien woman screamed, her contractions ripping through her body. Like lightning, the newborn in her arms wailed louder, its cry blasting another shockwave that sent 2 hunters crashing into the trees. The soldiers hesitated, fear flashing in their eyes. Ethan seized the moment, reloading fast, his back pressed against the woman. "Just keep fighting, keep breathing, I've got you." Her belly swelled again, glowing like a sun trapped inside flesh. The light burst outward in violent waves, making the hunters shield their eyes. And then, with a cry that split the night, another child was born, glowing and alive. The woman cradled it with shaking arms, tears streaking her cheeks, whispering, "The second." "The second lives." Ethan fired again, pushing back the hunters who dared step closer. But her body convulsed once more, another contraction tearing through her. The third came, then the fourth. Each birth a storm of energy, each newborn crying. With power that made the ground tremble, the hunters panicked, their voices shaking with rage and fear. "They are multiplying. Kill them before it is too late." Ethan roared back, his gun blazing. He moved like a shield, protecting her with every ounce of his strength. Bullets ran low, his weapon overheated, but he refused to back down. Every newborn cry shook the battlefield. Every glow lit up the dark. The 5th came, the 6th, the 7th, her body weakening, her voice faint but unyielding. Ethan held her hand, his eyes burning with determination. "Stay with me, don't you dare give up. You're stronger than them, stronger than all of this." She smiled weakly, whispering, "It is not strength. It is love that keeps me alive." The 8th was born, its cry splitting the night, sending hunters flying backward with invisible force. The forest itself seemed to bend under the energy of these children. The hunters regrouped, fear etched in every step, their leader shouting, "They are monsters, destroy them now." But before they could strike, the final surge came. The alien woman screamed with all she had left, her belly glowing brighter than the burning trees. The 9th child emerged, and with it came an explosion of light so vast that it swallowed the battlefield. For a moment, the world turned white. Silence drowned the night. When the light faded, Ethan blinked through the haze. 9 newborns lay glowing in the woman's arms and against the earth, their tiny breaths steady, their cries quiet but powerful. The hunters staggered back, their armor cracked, their eyes wide with terror. The leader dropped his blade, whispering, "Abominations, born of human and alien. The forbidden 9. Ethan stood tall, his body shaking but his spirit burning. He raised his weapon again, his voice fierce. "They're not abominations, they're the future, and I'll kill anyone who touches them." The hunters hesitated, some stepping back in fear, others gripping their weapons tighter. Torn between rage and dread, the alien woman cradled the 9 children close, her eyes soft with exhaustion. "They live, Ethan. All of them live," she whispered, her voice fading. He knelt beside her, his hand brushing against the glowing newborns. His chest tightened with awe and terror. Knowing the truth, the galaxy would never be the same again. A new beginning. Battlefield was silent, the smoke curling slowly into the alien night. Trees still burned in the distance, but the sound of blasters and blades had faded, replaced only by the faint cries of the newborns. 9 small figures glowed softly, their tiny breath steady, their bodies pulsing with strange light. They lay around their mother, fragile yet powerful, their presence filling the air with energy Ethan could feel in his very bones. The alien hunters stood frozen at the edge of the clearing, their armor cracked, their weapons lowered. Their faces were twisted with fear, their leader's voice trembling as he whispered, "The forbidden 9. Children of corruption, children of war." But none of them stepped forward, none dared. The power of the newborns had broken their courage, shaken their faith. Ethan stood tall, his weapon heavy in his hands, his body bruised and bleeding, but his spirit fierce. He looked at the soldiers, his eyes sharp. "You've lost. Leave now, or stay and die." His voice carried a weight that made the hunters hesitate. One by one, they backed away, disappearing into the smoke. Until only silence remained, Ethan turned, his chest rising and falling with exhaustion. The alien woman lay weak against the roots, her arms wrapped around the newborns, her face pale but peaceful. She smiled faintly when she saw him, her glowing eyes soft. "They live, Ethan, all 9. They are safe." He knelt beside her, his heart heavy with emotions he couldn't name. He looked at the newborns, tiny hands, glowing eyes, fragile skin that shimmered between alien and human. They were beautiful, but also dangerous, their very existence a challenge to 2 worlds. Ethan whispered, "I don't know what happens next, but I swear I'll protect them, I'll protect you." Her trembling hand reached for his, her fingers cold but strong. "You already are their father, whether you choose it or not," she whispered. "They will need you more than you know. For the galaxy will not accept them, it will fear them." Her eyes filled with tears, but they were not of sorrow, they were of hope. "They are not monsters, Ethan. They are bridges between your kind and mine, between hate and peace." Ethan swallowed hard, the weight of her words sinking into his soul. He had come here as an explorer, a soldier, a man with no ties, no family. But now, fate had handed him something greater, heavier, and more impossible than he had ever dreamed. 9 lives, a mother who trusted him, and a destiny that would shake the galaxy. The newborns shifted, their glowing eyes opening, looking at him with curiosity. One reached out a tiny hand, touching his finger, and in that moment, Ethan felt it. Not just warmth, not just life, but connection. A bond deeper than blood. A bond written in both human and alien. He whispered softly, "I've got you, all of you, no matter what." Alien woman smiled again, her voice breaking with exhaustion. "Then they are safe, for as long as you breathe." Her eyes fluttered closed, her body finally surrendering to rest. But her arms still held the newborns close, as if her soul would never let go. Ethan sat beside her, his weapon laid down, his eyes fixed on the horizon. The night was not quiet, not really. He knew the hunters would return. He knew more enemies would come. But the galaxy had changed tonight, and nothing could undo it. The 9 children breathed softly, their glow casting light over the ruins. They were not symbols of corruption, not abominations. They were hope, living hope. Ethan tightened his grip on his pack, his mind already planning. He would have to move them, hide them, protect them. Worlds would want them dead. Governments would want them captured. But he would never let that happen. He looked at the 9 glowing faces and whispered, "You are mine now, and I will never let you go." The stars above glittered brighter, as if watching, as if waiting. Ethan felt the weight of destiny pressing on his shoulders. He was not just a soldier anymore, not just an explorer. He was a father, a protector, the first guardian of a new kind of life. And though the galaxy would hunt them, though the future was uncertain, he knew one thing with unshakable certainty: this was only the beginning.